So Brian, I'm really excited to welcome you. Yeah, and the stage is yours, my friend.
So my topic today is how personal values that direct our career path. So the value, I really the believer of the values, and I wasn't before, but I was I'll let you know why I started believing that. So first value I discovered in my life was being global. I never been abroad for study. Actually, I'm pure Korean studying English, having some typical education in Korea. But in college, I feel that something global is a very important. Maybe Steve Jobs, maybe some entrepreneurs from the media, their success story. I was into the TED Talks at the time as well. So something global, really, the message I have in my brain every single day. So I naturally, after graduation, took a global sales role in my first job and had a wonderful trip to around the world, Dubai, Singapore. I visited the NUS, National University of Singapore, for example, in Cambodia, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia. That was fantastic. My first company was a genomic service provider. So I meet normally the scientists, researchers to get their DNA samples of their animals and plants and sequencing them and provided data for their researching. So that was a role. So it was really interesting for me because, by the way, I majored in biology in my college. And thankfully, there was no overtime work in my first job. You may feel weird. Overtime work in Korea is because it's normal. It's normal when it comes to the work time. You'll see a lot of normally 9 to 7 is a super fast. So normally 9 to 8 is quite normal in Korea, even still today. But at the time, I wasn't the person who do the overtime. That's my style. So I just uh, just finish the work and go home. But when you finish the work at 6 p.m. and you try to pack up and you go, you will see a lot of seniors stare, and you should overcome that in Korea. Anyway, in Korea, there's a significant societal pressure to achieve success. So the value thing, today's topic may be something casual for your country, but in this country, even still today, not many people don't know their values. So from middle school, high school, they work like crazy. So that was the kind of a situation here. So thankfully, last year I was able to do the mentoring North Korean defectors, 7 North Korean defectors visiting U.S. Embassy, and I was able to help them. So this is one of the meaningful work I do as a career coach. The one guy called James from LinkedIn to contact me, and we had a Zoom meeting several times, and I was able to help James to organize this events. And I do some mentoring activity for the local community in Seoul, offline, online, mostly online nowadays, but offline sometimes. So behind the global success of K-pop in Korea, this picture is quite common. You know, if you go to school here in Korea, 7 in 10 teenagers feel loss of confidence due to school grades and a lot of pressure from the society and the parents as well. So the suicide rate, number one for the last 10 years in the world, lowest birth rate, as you know, the birth rate, we are lowest. Second is Japan. So this is a huge problem. So I hope you help many Korean people because I know some foreigners doing some marketing activity on LinkedIn, helping the Korean people English or career coaching as well. So I believe it's a huge market for you if you target the Korean audience, honestly. So that's one of the idea because we need help. They need help. So I cannot help everyone. So that's the idea I want to share today. And next value was challenging. I found my first job is quite okay and easy. I traveled around the world. I spent 4 years there. That was it. So I felt, let me do something else. So I pursued a challenge. This is the second value in my life I discovered. So I co-founded an international trading company with three co-founders based in Seoul. So item was the medical device from the manufacturer in Boston area. And we got the Asian distributorship of 12 countries. And I was the managing 4 countries, Indonesia, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Philippines. And I had a business trip to the world to build a partnership. And also I started a side job, resume rewriting service for Korean people, because at the time I didn't have any salary from my company for the first 2 years. So it's part of my failure, actually. I didn't succeed. I failed. So I, not luckily, after that, I got a job offer from the Swiss company called the Sophia Genetics as a country manager. It was a high-paying job, remote job, and global team. I have a territory manager in Melbourne. I have a team in Japan, Taiwan, for example, and sales training opportunities in Geneva, Bali, and Melbourne. That was fantastic. That was a really good experience. So I felt that the career is not linear. You can achieve everything, because of my first career, typical Korean company, and my own entrepreneurship experience, failure, and then this one really changed my perspective. It was at the age of 32, I believe, at that time. So luckily, the LinkedIn gave me this job. So since then, I really try to let people know the value of LinkedIn. But at the same time, I realized my value is not the reputation, not the wealth. So because of the high sales pressure, and also the customer size is a very conservative culture, because of the solution I sold was the software for hospitals to analyze the patient data, patient genomic data, for example. And so the customer I meet normally declines at the age of over 50. Hospital head, for example, was really difficult at the age of 32 or something. So in Korea, doing sales is related to your age gap as well. So it was some tough situation. So I realized that the reputation and wealth is not the value I want. I just follow the opportunity. I just take this opportunity because maybe it's the success defined by others, defined by society. So I realized that I need to follow my own value. And in 2018, my son was born. Hojin was born. And then my third value comes to my life, and helping others and family. So I decided to pursue family and helping others for the rest of my life. And it's been 6 years since then, since the Hojin is a 6-year-old now. So it's a flexible working time and influence others through social media, because I consistently provided content online, offline, and on YouTube and LinkedIn as well. So many impressions I can give to the people have a little bit of influence to Korean society. 100% remote work, networking opportunity. I think the building relationship is something Korean people don't really do well. So I think it's some area that you guys can help. And also communication part is also very important, but not many Korean people is accustomed to that, because showing off or raising hands in Korean society is something weird. You should be quiet. You should be normal. If you're abnormal, or you raise your hands and you express yourself, that is considered something different. And still Korea has that culture. And also for me, still there are challenges and growth in myself. So this one is also challenging, because I do Korean lecture, and the English one is a kind of a challenge for me, but I try to do my best. And one of the concerns I have in the coaching business is monetization, because of doing good things, and you getting paid, make me feel uncomfortable at first. So that was my challenging in internet challenging. So I can say at first the notion of being paid to do good things left me feeling uneasy. And I found that when you're confident in what you're offering and know its value, you won't have a hard time of getting paid for it. So over time, I get accustomed to being paid by believing my service value and by improving the service quality. So that was some of the challenges personally. So career pivoting. I asked the ChatGPT. Nowadays in Korea, ChatGPT is a really hot topic. Every news, every even the lecturer, they switch their topic to ChatGPT. And career pivoting, it says, refers to the act of making a significant change in one's career path by transitioning from one field to or job role to another that may be unrelated or only tangent, I don't know, related to one's previous work. It involves shifting one's skills, experience, and expertise to a new field or industry. And it often involves acquiring new skills, knowledge, building new networks, and sometimes starting at a low level and taking a pay cut in the new field. Successful career pivoting requires careful planning on a realistic assessment as one's strengths and weakness and willingness to learn and adapt. So, yeah, that's the definition. And these are some of the lessons. I have 2 slides more, and these are the career pivoting cases I did for the people. Firstly, I want to share the lessons from my career coaching experience. The first one, there's no set formula for achieving success in one's career and leadership style. Therefore, individuals must develop their own career and leadership style. Because a lot of the Korean people, they try to benchmark people. They want to be like that person, but they don't really know how they form their own style. So that is the kind of issue that I would like to point out. And so this sentence represents that problem. And second one, career pivoting is possible. In order to secure a basis for career transition, it's essential to accumulate relevant project experience. So I have experience. I'm work as a career coach. 10 years back on my Facebook post, I didn't really mention about career coaching job because I didn't really expect myself to be a career coach 10 years back. But now I'm doing that. So thinking about the secret of that, I did a lot of personal projects. I run my own English study group for 9 years, and also I started my YouTube channel in my first job. After finishing my work, every day I spend 3 hours editing video, things like that. So I was able to understand the social media and how we provide the contents to the online audience. And third one must have their own value system, but the value system is in the unconscious area. But my concept is to put this value in more visibly. Let's think about your glasses has one value. So my value here is family and helping people. Okay, quick question for audience from the interaction. What is your number one value in life? One keyword, no more second word, just one word. If you should have one word in life in terms of value, what would it be? For me, it's a family. For me, second one is helping others. Can you type that? Okay, curiosity, exploration, legacy, service, okay, compassion, okay, relationship, okay, I see. Yeah, and by the way, huge thanks to Dino and Dassel. Actually, Dassel and I met in Seoul, and she introduced this great event at the same time the WeChat group as well, and yeah, love, okay, empathy. Okay, very good. You guys You guys have a similar values as me as well, because when values are similar, the conversation are really rich and very interesting. I found it. But when you talk with the people with the value against your value, it's really difficult. You want to finish it on something like that. Okay, very good. So that was a kind of the message in my career coaching experience, and so the value, understanding value, not only understanding value, you should define your own value, and you should live the value. You should protect that value. But the culture sometimes so big, so hard, so strong. So the existing culture, in the existing culture, you cannot protect your values. Especially Korean society was really difficult. If you want to express something, you want to express something. In some culture, you cannot express yourself in some meeting, in some school. Yeah, because we have a culture. You don't speak. You don't speak when you eat, for example, in the 10 years back. But nowadays we talk, but wasn't able to talk when you eat. That was a culture. So that culture versus the personal value, we're fighting. That's the idea that I see. So that's why I try to make them understand their value. No, it's your value. You should protect that. But the culture, there's culture. You cannot protect your values in some companies or in your life. So understand that context is kind of my idea to deliver to the individuals when I do the coaching. Number 4, amount of expression becomes one's identity. Showing authenticity and consistency can lead to good networks and relationship. So all the speakers, I saw your authenticity and consistency. So I naturally have a trust for everyone. So not hiding and express. So the amount of expression is very important. So writing is something I want you to do on a regular basis on social media or hang notes, whatever. And next one, gaining self-awareness requires uncovering one's values and increasing their density. So I put the concept of density. You have value, and you should have more density of value over time by doing your activity. And that activity should touch your value. So every activity I do, like this one as well, is part of my value realization, helping people, even one person here. Yeah. And managing an individual's career brand is becoming increasingly important. Utilizing LinkedIn for strategic career branding, establishing professional identity, networking, and content production is essential. So networking, definitely important. And we are connected. So please add me on LinkedIn. And if you want to build a business in Korea, I'm here to help. For your coaching business, for example. The career pivoting case, a person with 4 years of career gap. In Korea, if you have a career gap, you cannot be hired. It's really difficult because you have a career break, whatever the reason, maybe pregnancy, whatever the reason, you have a career break. No, you don't get a job. It's hard, really hard. So from the office job, you eventually work in a restaurant or convenience store or whatever, because it's hard to get a job after a career break. But this guy become a finance manager in a German company in Korea by making a very authentic story of himself. And I want to share that. His wife was a YouTuber, a very successful YouTuber, making a lot of money. So he quit the job to support her. But after pandemic, the wife's YouTube went bad in terms of revenue generation. So he was 3 years gap at the time. So applying for a job to sustain. and he failed. Me, and I actually made a kind of story about his career break, a 4 years career break. 1.5 years taking care of his own son. I mean, actually, he had a son, and then 2 years working for the content startup. Not talking about wife. Wife is a YouTuber and helper. Content startup. But why content startup? And he said, it's more flexible. I can take care of my son at the same time I can work. And now I want to go back to the corporate world, especially multinational company. And he got a job. So that kind of story was really powerful. And he overcame that difficulty of 4 years of a career gap. Similarly, I have many cases, career pivoting cases. So actually, it's not easy, but it's worth trying. So if you want to become freelancer like me, or doing your business, whatever, yeah, you can do that. But if you start small, and even without a company, you should have your own ability. And the point is that you should help people. Help the business is a idea of being paid. If you help the business full time, it's a career. It's an employee. If you help the business part time, it's a consulting. So I'm doing some consulting part time and doing my own business. And salary is really better than the before. But I'm not the one who pursue wealth. But if you pursue your own values, people see your authenticity, and naturally money comes after, because you have a trust between relationship. So that's the idea I want to share. So the last slide, my favorite quote, be the change. Be the change. And this is my 6-year-old son, Jeju Island, a beautiful ocean. And I'm planning to visit Jeju Island. If you visit Korea, Jeju Island is a very good place to be with your family, loved ones. And connect with me on LinkedIn. And let me know if you want to build a business here in Korea for Korean audience, because Korean people can speak English, so they can pay you. And I know several foreigners doing that job as well very well. So that's it. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
감사합니다.